What is going on, Ram fans? Mark from Rams Up here. March 23rd, Rams Up update. And what am I doing this episode? Well, at the end here, I am going to share another mock draft, and I took a different strategy. A lot of Ram fans have been drooling over the prospects of adding Tyler Warren, the great Penn State tight end, to this Ram squad. And, you know, easier said than done. You want to trade up for the chance of drafting Tyler Warren. It's going to be pricey. It's easy to say, trade up, let's go get this guy, but you have to consider the cost. And in this mock draft, I do just that. I trade up into the 14th spot to draft Tyler Warren. Had to give up an awful lot, though, and we'll see how that goes out. Another science experiment. And you know what? I think the results are not that bad. Gave up a lot, came away with a great tight end and a few other players. So that's at the end here. Before we get to that, we'll get through some news and notes here. Episode 690 on the podcast. So let's talk about a player who wore number 90 for our Los Angeles Rams. Man, one of the most underappreciated players you will come across in the history of the Los Angeles Rams. Defensive tackle Larry Brooks. Played for the Rams for 11 years from 1972 to 1982. A 14th round pick. 14th round, that's right. The 355th pick overall out of Virginia State. And man, he had a great career. He ended up with 74 and a half sacks at 6th all-time on the Rams list, sandwiched between Leonard Little and Fred Dryer. Man, sandwiched up there in the front end of that defense between some really good players, Jack Youngblood, Fred Dryer, really good defense. He was two-time first-team All-Pro in 1977 and 1979, two-time second-team All-Pro, five-time Pro Bowler. And man, he just got it done. A beast in the middle of that great Rams defense. And for you younger fans, don't know if you'll ever appreciate how good that defense was. And Larry Brooks, number 90, was a big part of it. So let's move on to a note here about March Madness. Not going to spend a lot of time on college basketball, but hey, this is one of the big sports events of the year, so I'm just going to talk about it real briefly, and I'm going to take the good, the bad, and the ugly away from this, and I'm going to start with the bad. Kelvin Sampson, man, this guy would not be happy with me roasting a reporter who mispronounced Gonzaga, or is it Gonzaga? I've probably been saying it wrong my entire life, and Sampson ripped into him. And I thought it was a little bit over the top. Boy, Kelvin Sampson would be very unhappy if he was a regular listener on this podcast, as bad as I mispronounce names and such. But I thought it was a bad look. Come on, Kelvin, give the guy a break. You don't have to roast him in front of everybody. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then the ugly, the SEC, and yes, I love to pick on the SEC because they get way too much love in football and now in basketball. 14 teams named, sorry, I should say selected for the tournament, and they came out of the gate at 8-6. Not really impressive. Meanwhile, the Big Ten 8-0, including UCLA and Oregon. Pretty good showing by the Big Ten. That is the best undefeated record out of the gate for any conference ever, 8-0. SEC made up a little bit of ground on Saturday with Tennessee knocking off UCLA, unfortunately. Wisconsin, the Big Ten, took a nosedive, and I think it was 3-1 for the SEC and 2-2 for the Big Ten. So they showed up a little bit better on Saturday, but still not a good look out of the gate, especially when you compare it to the Big Ten. So shout out to the Big Ten. They stepped up and represented. And oh, I forgot about the good here. The good part was the Oregon Liberty game. Growing up, I should say, watching my kids grow up, playing youth sports, there were so many times where I thought coaches kind of blew it, where they had chances to get players into games. I understand you play your best players, you play to win. I get it, but there's opportunities to get those kids into games, kids that show up every day at practice, work hard. Maybe they're not quite good enough to play 30 minutes of a basketball game. I get it. There's times to get them into games, right? And in this basketball game, we kind of saw a referee taking it into his own hands. They're trying to get this kid into the game, 58, 59 seconds left, whatever it was. And he pretends like there's water on the floor, blows a whistle to stop the game, pretends to be cleaning up the water, and tells the kid, get in here. This is your only chance. Welcome to March Madness. And this referee's name, Roger Ayers. Shout out to Roger Ayers. Great job. Love to see it. I wanted to share my original dream scenario that I shared several weeks ago, and I updated it. My original dream scenario for the Rams offseason: bring back Matthew Stafford and Alaric Jackson. Check, did that. And then my second thing was to sign a cornerback like DJ Reed. Well, we brought back Ahkello Witherspoon instead. And my third thing, signed linebacker Nick Bolton. Well, we signed linebacker Nate Landman. And the fourth thing, re-signed wide receiver Demarcus Robinson. Well, we did one better. We signed wide receiver Davante Adams. And the fifth thing, I said, let's bring back Bobby Brown. Well, we did one better. We signed Poona Ford. And that is an upgrade, a slight upgrade, possibly even a big upgrade. Don't want to throw too much shade at ex-Ram Bobby Brown. And the sixth thing, still possible, the Rams trade their first and third to the Jags for the second, third, and fifth round pick of the Jaguars. And I'm sticking to that. And hey, based on what we're going to share here in this mock draft coming up here in a second, maybe I prefer that more than this trade proposed here. But just updating my original dream scenario, still kind of alive and kicking, and I think it's working out actually better. Maybe the two things that maybe are not quite as good as I originally hoped, the cornerback and linebacker situation, but wide receiver and nose tackle, we actually did better than my original plan. And I got a few free agents I'd like us to keep an eye on. First of all, there's Jedrick Wills, Brown's top 10 pick in 2020, has struggled a bit at left tackle, and the Browns eventually benched him. But remember, he was a top 10 pick, played right tackle in college, just 26 years old. So if we could get him for the right price, might not be a bad idea. Now, maybe more expensive than we'd want to pay for a backup, but if we consider him the possible replacement for Rob Havenstein, it might work out. Now, he has not played well, but remember, that was at left tackle. Maybe give him a shot at the right side. Another guy, wide receiver Elijah Moore, only 25 years old, 5'10" and 180 pounds. He was a second-round pick of the Jets in 2021. Finished the 2024 season with 61 receptions for 538 yards and 1 touchdown. We need to round out this wide receiver room. We're still a little bit short here. Now, he's not the prototypical Sean McVay style wide receiver, but he gets open over and over and over again. So it would just give you a little bit more flexibility going into the draft. Maybe you sign this guy after the draft if you can't get that wide receiver you like. And then still on my free agent watch list, linebacker Kyzir White. I like the Nate Landman signing. We still need a dynamic sideline-to-sideline style linebacker, and White would fill the bill. And then finally, safety John Johnson. I like our 4 safeties, our 4 primary safeties. Need one more guy, I think. And we bring back John Johnson, and we can pass on all the safeties in the draft. Just bring him back, and we'll have a really solid group there. And I'm talking about adding players, and that suggests that we have the money to do it, and we actually do. The cap situation for the Rams is a little bit confusing. Now, according to Over the Cap, at least the sites that point to Over the Cap, they say we have 30.4 million in available cap space. But if you look at the numbers, they talk about having 21 million. And this could be because on June 1st, the Rams will have some additional money, or maybe they're talking top 51. I don't know. I get so confused trying to interpret cap space numbers. You'll get different numbers on every site. Bottom line is they have the money to sign a guy like Jedrick Wills or another receiver. They really do, or Kaiser White. They really have the money to add another impact free agent. Now, they may sit back, see how things develop over the next few weeks, maybe wait till after the draft, but I think the Rams definitely have some money to spend, and I think they will. Now, 2026, they have 46 players on that list right now applied to the cap, and their cap space at the moment would be 75 million. 2027 going to be a big change in this roster. By the time we get to 2027, only 14 players counting against the 2027 cap. The Rams would have 253 million in cap space at the moment, and that could actually grow. So by the time we get to 2027, going to be a big change in this roster. There's going to be some guys that get paid. Remember, a lot of these young Rams will be up for a new contract by then. Guys like Kobe Turner, Byron Young, as well as a handful of other Rams. So, you take that with a grain of salt, but Rams are going to be in a good position to add players. Well, they're in a good position to add players right now and in 2026. And in 2027, this Rams roster could look a lot different, I think. Hey, once in a while, I like to check in on ex-Rams. Let's do just that. Remember Bobby Evans? Well, of course you do. 2019 third-round pick of the Rams. Career got off to a decent start, but his performance really tailed off. He was eventually released by the Rams. Well, he was an all-UFL player, all-UFL offensive lineman playing for the Arlington Renegades last year. So at that level, he seems to be thriving. I don't see them on the roster yet this year, but hey, shout out to Bobby Evans. He played really good. Not at the NFL level, but making the all-UFL team out of Oklahoma. There was moments where we thought he was the answer, but I don't know what happened. His play really tailed off, but he's bounced back, at least to some degree. All-UFL for the Arlington Renegades last year. Okay, Ram fans, you say you want Tyler Warren on this Rams offense. Well, let's see what it takes to get him. Now, I have a trade in mind that I know will work. The question is, does he last? Does he last to number 14? And this may take a few tries to get that situation set up, because I do have a trade that will work, get us into the number 14 spot. Let's watch these guys come off the board here. And Tyler Warren went too early. Let's pause this. Let's restart it. We'll try again. And I don't know how many tries it's going to take to get Tyler Warren dropping to number 14. Hopefully it won't bore you to tears here as we're getting this to work. We'll start it again. And Carter Hunter, let's pause this. Did he go yet? I might have missed it. Let's see which tight ends are available. Tyler Warren is still there. So let's make this trade. And the trade I am going to propose, again, it's going to be expensive. Everybody likes to talk about trade up. Let's just trade up. Well, be careful what you ask for. This is the trade that should work. The Rams are going to give up their 26th overall pick and their 101st. Now, what I'm also going to do here is get the Rams up into the 5th round. This is something that Rams Nation has been talking about. We're going to get the, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong team here. We're going to trade with the Colts, and we're going to give up the 26th and the 101st pick, and we're going to get back the 14th, and we are going to get back the 151st. So to make this work, we're also going to have to give up all 4 of our 6th-round picks. And hey, you want Tyler Warren, this is what it might take. Now, we could probably figure out something, not giving up that 5th-round pick and maybe not have to give up so much. We still have to surrender something else, though. We're going to give up our 2026 3rd-round pick. And now it's going to be accepted barely. I think we're getting a little bit the better side of this trade slightly. So we will make this trade. And we're going to get a bunch of trade offers. But hey, we want Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is on the board at number 14. And we have 3 more picks after this. So let's go ahead and see how this works. We get our franchise tight end, Tyler Warren. So the result here, the point of this exercise is it worth it? Now, you're getting a player that a lot of experts think is just a game changer. And would he be a game changer for this offense? Man, probably. But, as young as the Rams are, I don't really have a problem with this approach. We talked about the 49ers shedding all these veterans, really good players for, partly salary cap reasons. But if you believe John Lynch, it's to make room for a bunch of rookies. They have 11 draft picks. Maybe they're going to try to pull off what the Rams did and bring in, 13, 14 rookies. But you got to hit on those picks. And the 49ers kind of hit and miss on their draft picks recently. So I'm not sure if that's a good plan. But back to the Rams, I take the different approach. As young as they are, this roster doesn't need an infusion of 8, 9, 10, 11 draft picks. It's nice if you can do that, but I don't think that should be their focus this draft. It could be the other way around, where you're just trying to maximize quality over quantity, as someone pointed out on the YouTube channel. And so that's what we're doing here. However, if we get a trade offer here to add a pick or 2, maybe we should consider it. I don't want to pick in the 7th round next year to drop back 9 spots, so I'll reject that. Here we're adding 2 picks next year, dropping into the 4th round. And so we're going to go ahead and make a pick here. We have our tight end. What are the Rams' priorities here? Cornerback, perhaps, running back, wide receiver. Boy, I know a lot of Ram fans like Skattebo, but I'm just not feeling it for him. If you're looking for a change of pace, running back, he's super talented. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think of him as a guy that's going to shake things up for this offense. Has to get the snaps. So you're going to put him in for Kyren Williams or Blake Corum? Certainly not going to check that change of pace back, I don't think. But he's going to be a good football player for someone. There's Wyatt Millam, and, the offensive tackle situation is still troubling. And defensive lineman and edge rusher, another defensive lineman. For those of you on the podcast, I'm sorry, I'll just go ahead and read these names off. The top guys on the board: defensive lineman from Tennessee, Omar Norman Lott. Second up, offensive tackle Wyatt Millam out of West Virginia. Then you got Skattebo out of Arizona State. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, man. Kelvin Sampson, or should I say Kevin Sampson, would be really upset with me. Interior offensive lineman Jared Wilson out of Georgia. Joshua Farmer, the defensive lineman out of Florida State. Kyle Kennard, the edge rusher out of South Carolina. Defensive lineman Shamar Turner out of Texas A&M. And you know what I'm going to do? I would love to select a difference maker cornerback. I don't think he's here, though. I'm going to go ahead and take the tackle. And I still think that's a concern, as we've talked about ad nauseum, perhaps. And I apologize for that. Let's draft the offensive lineman. So we have 2 players on the offensive side of the ball. And we'll see what comes up. We only got 2 more picks. The upside is I'm not going to be sitting here all day making picks. But the downside is right now we're only adding 4 players. Let's see how this turns out. We are on the clock here at pick number 127. And if we go to the, I got the Tankathon base page up here, 127. Sometimes you get lost on these numbers. Where are we? We're in the bottom half of the fourth round and at 127. And linebacker Chris Paul, I think he'd be a great playmaking linebacker to add to this group. Barrett Carter as well. Do we still need that type of linebacker on this roster? I think we do. Are the Rams going to spend one of their 4 picks on linebacker? I doubt it, but I think they will add defense at this point. Zach Frazier, cornerback out of University of Texas, San Antonio. Kobe Bryant out of Kansas. Tommy Hill out of Nebraska. Some quality players there. And I'm tempted to go with the linebacker, a 4th round linebacker. And I'm not sure if, I'm not predicting the Rams to do that, but hey, let's just play with it. I will take Chris Paul Jr. out of Mississippi. And I feel I feel better about our tackle situation depth-wise, and I feel better about our linebacker situation as well. It remains to be seen what additional additions the Rams do in free agency. Hey, we have a chance to pick up a 7th round pick, and we drop 4 spots back. And let's see, there's some other offers here. I'm not interested in adding picks next year. I'm going to go ahead and make this trade, drop back 4 spots. Oh, I just accidentally rejected it. I guess we'll reject it. Okay. We're on pick number 151, our last one here. And I think we need to go defense if possible. They got the quarterback. Let's look at the running backs because there's a lot. There's Tootin. I've been drafting him over and over again. And Brashard Smith, Kyren Williams on the last year of his contract. Maybe we go that route. Some really good wide receivers. Hey, and this is the problem. Only 4 picks. I'm going to go ahead and select the running back. Let's check safeties. Let's check cornerbacks one more time. And not feeling it, I will go ahead and take the running back. I'm going to mix it up. I've been taking Tootin a couple of times. I think I've taken R.J. Harvey at least once. I'll go ahead and take Brashard Smith, which I know this guy, Scott Richmond, for one, likes him. And that'll be the end of our draft. Now, if I screwed up, I should have taken that trade. And if I had, I probably would have got Brashard Smith, and I would have had a 7th round pick as well. But, 7th round picks. We seem to hit it pretty good on 5th and 6th round picks. 7th round, not really. We seem to do better on undrafted free agents than we do with 7th round picks. So there you have it, our 4 selection draft. But we got Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, the tight end. You know what? I'd be happy with this draft. And again, we don't need 8, 9, 10 guys rolling in for minicamp. If we had these 4 guys, these are 4 guys that are going to make the team and contribute. Quality over quantity. If that's what you're asking for, that's what you're getting here. Our 4-player draft: tight end Tyler Warren, offensive tackle Wyatt Millum, linebacker Chris Paul Jr., and running back Brashard Smith. And I got a C for that running back pick, but screw that. That's a pretty good pick, I think. Would the Rams select a linebacker in this draft at all with only 4 picks? Probably not, but that's what I got this time around. Hope you enjoyed it. My 4-player draft that includes Tyler Warren, the great tight end, out here. Comment away. Let me know where I screwed up. Let me know where I got it right. And again, this is just an experiment, right? Give you, when you talk about trading up, you got to consider the cost. Is it worth it? And in this case, maybe it is out here.